Stop crying like a little girl. It's a phrase that literally and figuratively might have existed since all those words were made. But what does it mean? It's used nearly every time a man cries, or rather a boy cries, but do we really know what it means? In this day and age, a man saying these words to their son or any other boy is seen as a way of belittling women or implying traditional stereotypes that women cry more than men. But is that what men really mean when they say this? Well, let's find out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As somebody who just recently turned 18, I still have clear memories of when the phrase "stop crying like a little girl" was used, the last time being when I was 14 and I fractured my tibia playing soccer. I remember the coach being the one to tell me this and saying it was a sprain, and you know what I did? I stopped crying and I told everyone that it really was just a sprain until I started believing it myself. Fast forward 1 month and I'm unable to walk, laying on the hospital bed hearing I might need surgery because it was a major fracture. I ended up being able to heal from it without surgery, but doctor told his could have been avoided if I had gone into the ER sooner. Safe to say my mTOR never let me play soccer again. But I use that story to say that nobody wants to be likened to a little girl. It may be sad, but women are looked at as weaker people than men. So when another man tells you to stop crying like one, even worse, a girl, it sets up a response in your brain that you're a man and therefore men don't cry, especially like little girls. Now, as a man, I can tell you that the only time that it's allowed to cry, or rather that it's socially acceptable to cry, is if a family member died or somebody close to you died, you receive a diagnosis that you might die, or a major life event happens like the birth of your child or your marriage. But for any other reason than that, it's really frowned upon to cry. It may be sad, but that's just the reality of today's society. But wait, I lied. It's not the reality of today's society. It's been the reality since human beings could speak. The ideal definition of a man is one who is strong, stoic, and has emotional control. It's a definition that has been perpetrated by men and women alike. It mostly stems from being told as a child that men do not cry, or that men don't want to talk about their problems. A man just solves whatever problem they have. But wait, what evidence supports this? Well, according to a study conducted, there are almost 7 million more women in therapy than there are men. But why is this the case? Well, a man might get laughed at by his own male peers for going to therapy or for having emotional or mental problems. On the flip side, a woman might think a man is unstable if he goes to therapy for, let's say, child abuse or emotional abuse. This is a recipe for unaliving oneself. Actually, men did 3.5 more times than women to suicide and were more likely to overdose on drugs. But why is this? Why are men who are supposed to be more emotionally tough, more emotionally in control, more stoic, why do they commit suicide more than women? Well, it's simple. We're humans too. We all have emotions. We all feel things. The difference is nobody tells a woman that she isn't allowed to feel those things. They tell men they aren't. I grew up in a traditional household, an African household, but my mother, while being one of the most traditional people you will ever find, realized that I sometimes struggled with anxiety. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if I'd be here today. But not every man has somebody they can wake up to and tell them, you're going to be okay. Most men don't even receive smiles for an entire day. Compare that to a woman, and you could instantly see the difference. I'm not blaming women for this stereotype. It's a notion that is being perpetrated by both men and women, and it's a sad reality in this world that we live in. Men feel better drinking and taking drugs than they do talking about it with someone else. Even me, as I speak to you, I don't think therapy would really be in the cards for me. That might change in the future, but as of currently, it just isn't. The truth is, men cry too. It rains inside, but the sun still shines on the outside. The tears of a man are the silent language of a broken heart. I's the rational rabbit, and I'm out.